Welcome back to the desk. I'm Raven, and I have this very wonderful Microsoft Sculpt mobile mouse, but unfortunately the little nano dongle that goes with it broke yesterday. Not the product's fault, it was the fault of the USB port that it was plugged into. It jammed because it's an old crappy piece of hardware and I needed a mouse to use it. However, fortunately the outer metal sheathing around the USB thing came off, but the internal chip itself is still absolutely fine. So, I need to put this into a new sheath so that I can keep using my mouse. Let's do it. I have way too much crap on my desk. Here's the dongle, and you can see what the problem is. The sheathing has come completely off. Unfortunately, to remove it from the port, because obviously I didn't want to leave the sheathing in the port, I had to use some pliers and really deform it to get it out again. So, I went to Maplin and got myself a new USB plug. Don't need that bit. Don't need that bit, and we only need half of this bit as people start hammering and using tools. Here's the old cover, and as you can see, for God's sake. Here's the old cover, and as you can see, it only requires a small amount of what is there. As you can see, there's a slight length difference between these two. I'm hoping that I'll only need to be able to cut this down to where these prongs come out and not try and cut it any further down. The pins should be long enough that it will still reach and make contact with USB ports. It's quite simple. I'm going to take a pair of clippers. I'm just going to carefully, trying to be nice and straight about this, cut. Oh well, maybe not. Is made out of. So I'm going to take this pair of cutters and I'm going to clip it down first on these sides and then along the back. This will require some cleanup, of course. Alright. That's pretty good. We just need to do a little bit of cleanup around these edges. And I think part of this I'll be able to do with the clippers, the rest I'll probably have to file down. As a test, I'm just going to try dry fitting it in. It looks like it'll be a good fit, nice and tight and secure. Once I've tested it dry and made sure that it is working, I will use some form of perhaps a resin adhesive to make sure that it doesn't come out. Almost there. There's only the very faintest of overlaps. I want to get this thing to be nice and flat on all four sides. Alright, time to put this to the test. I'm going to dry fit it. Oop, easy. There we are. Now let's see whether it'll work in a USB port or whether I need to shorten it further. I have no interest in damaging my computer, of course, so I'll be plugging it into this extendable USB cable. So, here we go. Alright, that's in. Turn the mouse on. Hey, what do you know? Perfect. As you should just be able to make out here, you can see that the tab is quite far from the end. Ideally, I would shorten this down to be the same size as the old one, but unfortunately the joins on here are further spaced apart than the joins on here, because obviously this was tailor-made for it. And so if I tried to cut it any shorter, I would lose one of these securing tabs and the whole thing would probably fall apart. So I'm going to have to make do and just hope that I don't come up against any crazy shallow USB ports. It makes contact, and that's enough for me. Now because I can't shorten it, it does mean that when I put the dongle into the mouse, it sticks out a little bit, which is not the end of the world, and it still pops out properly, so I'll be able to live with that. Okay, I've mixed up some araldite, so I'm just going to put a nice... I'm going to try and spread it over this entire black section, but I don't want to put it on too thick because I don't want it to spill anywhere. And I'm going to get that on all four sides. You don't want it to be too thin either. There we go. aerolited that to my to my board. Now, because it is already a nice snug fit, that should be more than sufficient. So, with the aerolite done, you can go ahead and make the final binding. Yeah. It's just nice and snug, and I'm just going to wipe that spare aerolite away. And there we have it. The complete final glued together thing. No problem whatsoever. Of course it'll never quite be the same again, but it's better than not having this dongle, because these things are physically paired. You can't just buy a replacement dongle, unfortunately. Great devices. I really do love Microsoft's physical hardware. But hey, that is a nice easy way to repair any sort of little dongle like that. As long as the top part is fine, you can just replace the metal sheathing. Until my next video, I'm Raven, and that's all from the desk. Now they choose to stop. I'm not re-recording that. I've done it now.